Welcome back to Rift's Dimension Book 1 Wormwood Video 3. Now we're going to talk about adventuring in Wormwood. Well, obviously there are two ways to do it. Either your campaign is based and created in Wormwood, meaning that you are playing denizens of the place, or you're visiting from another dimension. Two ways to go about doing it, and they're both very different. Let's find out.
The core values of #RPGate and any good tabletop group are escapism, not representation, entertainment over activism, and natural, organic inclusion, not forced diversity. Please follow that QR code or refer to the description below for the link to the charity we support, which is the Wounded Warrior Project. Thursdays and Saturdays, you can watch the Dirty Casuals on twitch.tv/Legion of Myth. Fridays and Sundays, you can watch the Friday Night Show stream and RPG Digest on our YouTube and Rumble channels. Please leave us a comment with your thoughts and experiences, and if you like our gaming content, please be sure to subscribe to Legion of Myth.
All right, so what I said earlier, there are two basic ways to come at this dimension book. You have the characters were born and raised on Wormwood, or the characters got to Wormwood. You choose either one. All right. Obviously, there's going to be major thematic differences. One, eating worms and lichen, good. If you were born there, it's going to be great. Oh, no, it's just breakfast. Of course, coming to Wormwood and say, you got any food? Yeah, here, have some worms.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah, it's going to get weird for a minute. But on top of that, you also have intrinsic knowledge of the host and the priests of darkness and all of the supernatural monsters that just completely dominate all of your people. And so you are probably going to fight against this. That's probably where your adventure is going to go if your player characters were born and raised on Wormwood. But if you're not, if you're visiting, you're going to get the lay of the land. You're going to have to understand what's going on. You may make mistakes in the beginning, and that's great. You may accidentally side with some bad guys because you don't know any better. Or if you are a fledgling dragon in your group, some of the demons might think you're a buddy. Say, what are you doing hanging around with these humans? Oh, they're your slaves, right? Oh, that makes perfect sense. Can I take off this one's arm? I'll pay you back. Something like that can happen, and you're going to get into a fight. It's cool like that. But what are you going to do long term? That's both short term nonsense. What about medium and long term? Well, obviously, there is the fighting against the host. Fighting against these guys. If you are a good player group, good aligned player group, you are going to quickly recognize the good guys from the bad guys.
Is that something low-level characters can do effectively?
What, fight these guys?
Yeah.
Yeah, not like actual demons or obviously the unholy, but these low-level jabronis, like goblins and stuff like that. Yeah, sure. They can fight those all day. Remember, there are only so many demons from the Black Abyss that are here. The rest of them are dimensional travelers who came here and it's like, oh, I'm gonna hook my, train up to this unholy engine over here, So there's that. But if you have a good aligned group, you're going to want to fight the host. Now, this is going to be a slow process since they control the planet. You free one place, you free another place, you defend the place you freed yesterday because now the host is trying to take it back. It's a long, arduous process. So most of the adventures based on Wormwood that last a while are going to be basically a campaign of war. And if you were born in Wormwood, you are going to want to take that to completion. So it's going to be a long campaign with the end result being the freedom of Wormwood and the human populace from the host and the demonic asses that control it. So that's the obvious adventure trajectory for those who were born on Wormwood. But if you are not, your main goal is most likely going to be getting back home. But what do you do while you're there? Well, if you're a good aligned group, you would help the people who are being oppressed, right? And in return, they will give you information that will allow you to find your way back home. Like I said, there are 4 portals to Earth on Wormwood. You got to get to them. You got to know where they are and then get to them. Well, you're not going to know that if you're not from here. And if
And you know how
buddy
negotiation always works. I will tell
yeah,
you if you run this FedEx quest for me. Oh,
exactly right.
hey.
That's how the adventures come up. You're building trust with the people of Wormwood to get information to send you home. And if you help them along the way, more's the better, right? It's great. If you're a selfish group, you're going to lie, cheat, and steal your way back home. If you're an evil group, well, you may hitch up to the beautiful little red wagon that is the unholy. I don't know. Maybe you want to stay at that point because this place is great for you. So it depends how your group is. But if your people were born there, you're going to want to end the tyranny of the host. If your people got sucked in here or visited here, you're going to want to get home. Those are the two basic adventure types. Now, how do we fill this in? How do we fill out an entire campaign with these end results in mind? Well, there's a whole bunch of stuff that we could do. I mean, there are all of the specialty items that only exist in Wormwood. And the cool thing is you can give them to your players and it won't matter in the long run, especially if they want to go home. You can give them all the symbiotes you want, all the magic items you want.
You know, I may have to eat worms and lichen, but I get a lot of cool stuff here. Can we stay?
There you go. Maybe, hey, you know what? Some people may want to stay. That happens a lot in novels and movies and TV where one of the group was like, no, I really resonate with these people and I really like these worms in my mouth. So I want to be all Zoidberged out right here. I love you guys, but see ya. That could be a thing. But let's go check out some of the items that they can do. In a couple of videos ago, we talked about symbiotes, right? Worms and making armor, giving you strength, all the impervious to poison, all that cool stuff. But the planet can also make stones. Bloodstones are one of them. A deep blood red battle stone doubles the amount of normal damage to any weapon it is built into and turns it into a magical weapon. When placed in body armor, it magically doubles the amount of MDC. So think about this. You are visiting Wormwood from Earth, right? You have MDC armor. It's plastic man armor. It's got 30 MDC. It's garbage. Put one of these stones in, boom, 60.
But only while on Wormwood.
But you don't know that.
Fair.
You don't know that. Who told you that? The people here don't know that. They've never been off of Wormwood, man. They don't know. Now, if you run into a temporal raider or a temporal warrior who can come and go from Wormwood much more easily than most, they would know that. But they are notorious dicks. They're not going to tell you.
Okay.
Bio Booster Stone. Permanent base of 60 points of PPE and cannot be siphoned by practitioners of magic. That means it can't be stolen. It's 60 PPE that you can use for whatever you need to use PPE for. And later on, it tells you it regenerates. Was it 10 per hour? Oh, regenerates completely after 24 hours. So if it runs out of power, you wait a day and it'll have 60 again. Then you can use it again. But these bio booster stones boost your stats by 50% for up to an hour. Strength, physical prowess, physical endurance, physical beauty, speed, and MDC, your natural hit points or MDC by 50%. And it costs 10, 20, or 30 PPE per activation. That's a pretty good deal. Double your strength for an hour for 10 PPE. You can do that 6 times per day. That's hardcore, man. Yeah, I want that. So part of the campaign is the group discovering, especially if they're visiting Wormwood, discovering all of these awesome powers that Wormwood has. You don't know that when they leave, you're gonna yank it out like a tablecloth. They don't know that. That's for you to laugh later on and them to cry, but that's the way it is. So what else can you do? What else can you do to do this campaign? Well, let's try this one.
What kind of intrigue can there be? I mean,
All
because
of
I know you focused on the war, but what kind of intrigue can there be?
Intrigue, they're really Wormwood is pretty black and white. All right. And I understand why that is, because the planet will give everyone everything you need to survive. So the conflict of trying to survive is severely mitigated by the planet. There is no basic conflict of food, water, shelter. You have all that for free all the time. So all of the other conflict is just status, power, one-upsmanship personally between one person and another or one group and another. If you want to ally yourself with one group of people and you want to make them more powerful, it's going to cause ruffle the feathers of other people that are in the area. That's up to you to do. The whole conflict type thing, socio-political conflict you want to do is up to you as a game master. How much or how little of that you want.
Like you could have little mini religious wars, not big ones, but little mini, like, this
Yeah.
enclave versus that way. Okay. Yeah.
Sure. Absolutely. You can go beyond the humans versus demons idea and have layers underneath that of human faction versus human faction or
And I mean, I would encourage that because as I was saying at the end of the last video, I see this as a dimension book. This isn't like a world book where you just kind of traipse through. This is like playing in Forgotten Realms versus playing in Dragonlance versus playing in Greyhawk when it comes to like Dungeons and Dragons. You're not just, over there a couple of miles. You're in a completely different campaign setting. So you should, in my opinion, be here for a while, if not the entirety of the campaign. So yeah, I mean, there are going to be all these little machinations that you can add in that can make Wormwood even less two-dimensional than the book might make it out to be.
Right. And as a game master, you can differentiate the host from one another. Like, for example, there is a list of the hosts here, the demons. They are evil. They are awful. They're very powerful. 1d4 times 1000 MDC. That's the demons from the Black Abyss. But they are also jealous, conniving, and mean. So part of the campaign could be you as player characters. Your job is to secretly pit them against each other, make them vie for control inside their own internal hierarchy violently to weaken them so the humans can actually win a campaign, win a war. You're there to screw with them. You could do that too. That could be what you do, especially if you are from outside of Wormwood. This kind of conniving is second nature to you.
Mm-hmm.
So you can implement this plan, weaken them from within, so the humans can have victory. And in doing so, the humans promise you that we're going to take you home when you do this. Oh, okay, cool. And there are all kinds of minions that are not hosts. There's the goblins. There's all kinds of other stuff, all kinds of other creatures that can be manipulated because they're dumb to accidentally fighting against the host or turning on the host because of some perceived slight or perceived plan that the goblins think that the host is going to kill us if we finish this job. Then we're not going to finish this job. We're just going to lollygag forever, so they never kill us. That's something a goblin would think is smart thinking, right? But you're grinding their progress, the evil's progress, to a slow crawl or a halt because you tricked the idiot minions into not doing their work. These are all ideas that you can throw in there, and all of them have the same theme. You may not be able to win, but you can score victories against the host. You can score victories that actually help the humans better their lives significantly
and prevent the demons from winning.
And prevent the demons from winning. Exactly. Well, they've already won. Technically, they've won. They control the planet.
Oh.
By and large, they control the planet. It's not contested. Most humans are slaves. That's just how it is. But those are the main types of adventures that you are going to have to do. Defeating the host if you were born there, or getting home if you were not. And again, you can throw at them all of the symbiotes and crystals and whatever. You can make it rain giant crystals the size of basketballs if you want. Because when they go home, they won't work. You could fill their body with worms. I got 20 worms. Ah! It's not going to matter when they go home. Your main campaign will not be affected by anything that happens in Wormwood. That's what makes it really, really attractive to newer game masters. Newer game masters, for playing Rifts, the biggest pitfall you will succumb to is power creep. That's the biggest problem when you're going to other locations and coming back home. Bringing back stuff that is not balanced in your prime setting. Wormwood solves that for you. You can give them whatever you want. Now, here's the rub. If you make them work real hard for symbiotes or for crystals or stones, and they get a really, really juicy one right at the end when they're going home, they're going to be pissed at you, and I don't blame them. They're going to be mad. Here's the deal. When you're talking about symbiotes and power stones and bloodstones and crystals and stuff like that, give them out a little more freely than you would regular magic items or high technology items in your home campaign. Be a little more liberal with them. That way, when they go back home and the crap turns to ash and dust in front of them, you can explain to them, you knew this was going to happen the entire time. That's why you made it easier for you to get these powerful magical items. Now, will that completely mitigate the player's anger? No. Will it soften the blow? Hopefully.
You know, my Borg still has all this bling in here. I still look pretty. I might not have extra 200 MDC, but I got bling.
Right. Exactly. You no longer have the little gem on your chest that doubles your armor, and you no longer
but I still have a gem on my chest.
It does, but it doesn't do anything. It's cracked. It doesn't do anything.
I got bling. That's what I said.
You got bling. You got bling. Yeah, there you go. But that is the main idea of a campaign or a long-term adventuring in Wormwood. It's differentiated if you were born there or if you're visiting. If you're born, you want to save your people. If you're visiting, you want to get home. That's the focus of the campaign. You don't care about the people. Well, you do care about the people, but you want to get home. And freeing a planet from 1,000 years of suffering is going to take more time than you got. Right? Probably take more time than you got.
It'll look good at first. And then as your armor's getting whittled down, and you can't replace it, then you'll be like, this isn't as fun as we thought.
That's another reason why the visiting players will want to go home, because they're running out of bullets. They're running out of E-cells. They're running out of Eclipse. Sorry. They're running out of power. And their armor is getting damaged and not getting repaired because there's no mega damage alloys here to repair it. You are on a clock. You are on a clock of your technology failing and having to use Wormwood technology to replace it. Now, the good thing is that technomancers can change over your power armor or your gun to make it, magical or sonically powered, and that'll work on Earth as well, as long as it's not made with anything from Wormwood. If it's made with a Wormwood power crystal, oops. Uh-oh. You got 1d6 hours, man. You make the most of it. Because you can make Eclipse out of power crystals that regenerate on their own every day. So you run out of juice on the clip, you put the clip in your pocket, tomorrow at that time, you put it back in, boom, it's full. No need to recharge it. It recharges itself. That's great. Right up until you leave Wormwood. So don't tell your players. Don't, if you tell them early, they're going to be just as mad as they will be. Why are we here? But now they're going to be mad the entire campaign. Every time you give them something, they're going to think Indian giver.
Yeah.
Some of them might even say it. So, deal with that as you will. My advice, don't tell them. Leave it to the end. If they want to be mad at you, just rip it off like a Band-Aid. Get it all done at once. Right?
Again, they go back home and they have a whole bunch of things. Look, they're going to be back at the normal power level of the world. They're going to have probably a level or 2 or 5 on them. They're going to still be more powerful and more experienced. Now they go back home. Okay, they don't have money and they don't have what they've got. So they've got things to do to earn it. And this is, me, when I run games, I keep players poor. So I'm looking at that as like, that's a win-win-win for me. Now I got mid-level players who need to earn their next upkeep. I mean, I'm in. That's a good thing for me.
Sure. So that's basically it. Now we're going to look at some chat, and some of the people in chat have some good ideas on their own. So let's check it out.
So I think they wanted to make a game book, but it's converted to be just a Rift source book. But I want
Dimension book. Dimension book is different. Yes.
That's what I wanted to clarify as well. And I'm really hung up on that term because there are world books and there are dimension books. And I really do see a dimension book as a completely different, let's use D&D terms again, Dragonlance, Forgotten Realms, Mystara.
It's the same game, but it's a completely different feel.
Yeah. But that'd be awesome. If there were supposed to be multiple books or books that came after that, I would like to see this embellished more. I would like to see that 2-dimension, that good versus evil, which there's nothing inherently wrong with, but I'd love to see that expanded upon.
Sure.
He says, Demon Hounds and Demon Riders make good NPCs to kill. That's when we're talking about low-level stuff?
Yeah. Those are the rank and file fighter minions of the host. And they're like, goblin riders you've seen in books and TV shows and movies and stuff where there's goblins riding giant wolves or whatever. Stuff like that.
Okay. Shuko says, are the portals controlled by humans? I
think there's one at the city of Worldgate that is controlled by humans. The other 3, I'm not sure. I read it last week, but I didn't read it deeply and I didn't commit it to memory. So.
Well, guess what? Now at your table, maybe they are. Maybe they aren't.
Look at that. There you go.
I'm going to skip the next one because I'm going to do that last.
Okay.
And then we have, you get dewormed?
Yes. All the symbiotes die within 1d6 hours. Or days? Hours?
You said hours so far.
Hours. Yeah, there you go. Hours of you leaving Wormwood because they are intrinsically connected. They have to be connected. They have to be on the planet. So once you leave the planet, they will start to die. And you get dewormed. Yes. They either fall off your body or they pass through your stool.
Do what I did the first time. Now we're gonna have a little English lesson here. And you're not British, are you?
No.
Okay, so let's remember that. You're not British. You guys sure it's lichen? How do you say chitin? Don't tell me you say chitin. Yes, we do. And let me zoom in on this. Merriam-Webster, lichen. We're not British, so we don't say lichen, although that says also, so that means they pronounce it lichen as well. So it is lichen. And
you didn't hit the button for sound.
I don't need sound. No, I didn't. Yeah, I wasn't trying to play it. It's right there. It's just in phonetics. And let me share again. And then chitin is, once again, chitin. See the K there, right? So there you go.
Actually, it's chitin. It really is.
No, it isn't.
Chi-tin.
It's chitin. It says it right there. This is American English.
American English. Okay. Yeah.
Now, the British, once again, wait, actually, did I not see that on this one? Yeah, a chitin, it's there. Yeah, chitinous. It says right there, chitinous. It's the way I've always pronounced it. So
yeah, no, I do as well. I do as well. I understand that the other way is sometimes considered the right way, but there are so many words that, depending on the region you're in, are pronounced.
Yeah, there's accents and people say some things incorrectly out of habit and so forth. And I get that. I'm not arguing that. I'm just saying the official way is chitin and lichen. So now, if you're British, you can say lichen, I guess, apparently. So I'll pop that down. Okay. So there you go. So
what else we got?
No, that's it.
That's it. Okay.
Yep.
So yeah, the adventure part is not very expansive because it doesn't lay it out for you. This book doesn't lay out any kind of grand adventure, because you can't have a grand adventure involving Wormwood unless you're on Wormwood, because nothing from Wormwood can go anywhere else. So the only adventure you have is fighting the host. It's a little worse than Africa, whereas in Africa there are 2 adventures: fighting the millennial beasts and fighting Rama-Tet, or whatever the hell his name was, who controls Egypt. That's basically it, but it spells it out a little more. It gives you signposts at the beginning, the middle, the end of the campaign. Here it doesn't. So you have to make it, you have to kind of build it yourself with the goal in mind, right? So people born there, goal is to defeat the host. People visiting there, goal is to get home. You have to build a campaign or set of adventures along those lines. So it's a little more work, but you get a little more freedom as well. So it's nice.
So I'm going to have a comment about this book. This book to me represents what a dimension book should be, in my opinion. It is different. It isn't just a Rifts add-on. It is I'm going to keep saying this, I'm going to be a broken record, but it is a completely different campaign setting.
Yes.
That you're not just flying to somewhere else. And to be fair, a lot of the world books are in and of themselves different campaign settings. I mean, South America is different than Germany. It's different than, England. I mean, I get that. I mean, there's already a lot of diversity there, but now add one step further. This is a completely different dimension, not related to this. So to me, I'm not saying it should be as in this is how you're supposed to play it. I'm just saying in conception, this should be something outside of a normal Rifts game. I want to play Rifts with Rifts rules and Rifts possibilities, but we want to do something different. We want to play Dark Sun instead of playing Forgotten Realms. Like that's how I see this. Does it have to be that way? No. But if you put it in that concept, I like Wormwood, and I hope, or I don't know them that well, that all the other Dimension books are like this. And yes, I know we covered Phase World, and Phase World's a little bit more homogenized, but of the Dimension books that are out there, whatever else, I mean, what are like 5, 6, 7 Dimension books, whatever. I would hope that they all look like this, something separate and unique.
They are separate and unique, but unlike all the other Dimension books, this one actually stops you from bringing the powerful things from Wormwood to anywhere else. Stops the power creep. Kevin, go back to this. If it's another dimension, stop the power creep. Stop it.
With that,
there you go.
Subscribe and share. Thank you very much. I'm not convinced that this is what I would want in my Rifts game, because I said that at the beginning of the first video, but I don't dislike it, and like I said a moment ago, I think it's what a Dimension book should be.